Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Theresa May is to warn her cabinet to stop briefing against each other after a weekend of damaging leaks. Let's get more on that now, should we? The Prime Minister says she will issue a harsh warning to her cabinet ministers tomorrow over recent leaks to the press about the Chancellor. The leaks have only added more weight to the claim that Theresa May's government is in chaos as Brexit talks take place this week. Joined now by Lord Heseltine, former Deputy Prime Minister. Hello to you, Lord Heseltine. Always good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us. Leaks are not helping. How challenging can it be for a Prime Minister to take control of the troops?
Well, it is essential that Prime Ministers do, because if they don't, their authority is undermined. The difficulty, of course, for Theresa May is that she doesn't have an overall majority in Parliament in her own party, and she has not just a cabinet, but a parliamentary party and a party in the country that is divided down the middle on the issue of Brexit. So trying to sack and it will be a leading Brexiteer, I suspect, is in the sights, would be extremely difficult.
5 different sources were told who have been briefing the papers over the weekend. We've heard from Lord Lamont on Sky News today. He's been saying that the Cabinet is in danger of collapsing if this continues. What's your take, Lord Heseltine? Well,
I think that's probably a slight exaggeration because the cabinet sort of can't collapse. I mean, there would be new people put in position. But certainly, Norman is right to stress the danger to the reputation of the government if this goes on. My anxiety, of course, is that it's been going on for so long, and it's so deeply ingrained in the bitterness of the Brexit debate that it's very difficult to see how it can be stopped, whilst Brexit is the serious agenda of the Conservative Party.
Well, we all well remember, those of us of a certain age, well remember John Major's view on those that would have plotted against him. He was very forceful in his opinion. What's your view? I mean, eventually all was lost as far as Mr. Major was concerned. What's your view on Mrs. May keeping charge?
Keeping charge?
Yes.
I didn't understand that question.
Yes, well, let me explain it further if I may. Keeping in control, still being the boss, still making people do exactly what she wants them to do.
Well, I'm afraid that I don't think she can do that because her cabinet is divided on the issue of Brexit. And this is not just some sort of incidental issue. It happened to sort of emerge out of the woodwork. This is about Britain's national self-interest for generations to come. And so, I mean, basically, the choice that many people in the Conservative Party are having to make is my party or my country. And the issue of my country will always take supremacy in such a context. And so it should. So that is why people feel so strongly, so deeply about this apparent abdication of Britain's position in the world.
If you're saying that she's lost control, what's the logical conclusion of what you're saying? She's toast?
Yeah, you love these words as journalists. I've made my view clear. I don't think she will lead the Conservatives into another general election. And I think there therefore has to be another leader. My anxiety is that the focus of attention at the moment is on the personalities, whereas I'm preoccupied by what they're going to say. Because if we just get a reprint of the present position, another Brexiteer, it will do nothing to unite the party or the country. So there has to be policies, and I think there have to be policies now and urgent, because my guess is we shall fight a general election in 18 months to 2 years' time. And that's based on a very simple calculation. I don't think the opposition parties want a general election now, not all of them. I'm sure the Scots and Nats don't want to let Ruth Davidson loose on them again for the time being. So I think it will take time for the mid-term blues to set in, and they always do, in 18 months, 2 years' time, I think it will be in the interests of the opposition party to bring the government down. And if the Conservatives are to have a chance of winning that election, they have to have policies now which they start to implement. It's no use waiting for 18 months.
So how quickly does she have to go?
I think if she were to come forward with ambitious, relevant policies now, she might be surprised as how she could survive for a reasonable period of time. But in the present situation of drift, anything could happen. It's a matter of, it really depends on the members of the House of Commons, but of course we all know they're all discussing this at great length, and there are many factions building up in support of different candidates. But the issue to me, which they should focus on, is not who, it's what are we going to say and do in the meantime.
You said that, but you're a sage old owl, Lord Heseltine, aren't you? I mean, she's gone before Christmas?
Well, you know, you want me to give a date, and I have no capacity for giving a date. I don't think anybody else has either. There are just so many different factors and so many different factions working on this, and they'll all be making calculations of what's in their interest. They'll start off by saying they don't want to change. Of course, that's what they'll say. But their acolytes, their friends, as the newspapers would call them, will be going round trying to test opinion, trying to find out how many people they've got on their side. If they haven't got enough, they'll be in favour of keeping Theresa May in power. If they think they've got a winning streak, they'll be in favour of her going. But I'm not in a position to go around the House of Commons asking people to give me confidential information as to which way they're going to move in any given circumstances. You're in a better position to do that than I am, but then you're already doing it, as we know from your coverage all the time.
Yes, we are. Some of them tell us, some of them don't. But I wonder what you would say, Lord Heseltine, to those that are, by their very actions in Cabinet, basically tearing the party apart at the moment and briefing against the Prime Minister and briefing against the Chancellor, 5 separate sources talking to the newspapers at the weekend. What would you say to them? Stop it or carry on?
Well, you know, we tried to do all that when John Major was Prime Minister, and they didn't. And they've gone on, and they've now got to the point where they have divided the Conservative Party. And there's only one conclusion of that, and we'll lose an election, which to me is a very worrying thought. But I think that the lesson that came out of that last election is that Corbyn is no longer a non-electable person. I find it difficult to believe, but that's what the conclusion has to be. I see Tony Blair is saying the same thing. The fact of the matter is that a rerun of the last election doesn't look to me like it would prevent Jeremy Corbyn from winning just those extra seats he needs. So the Conservatives have got to have something in their pocket that they've done or said or believe in now to prepare public opinion for that very likely outcome of an election. There are things they should be doing in the housing field, in education, in devolution. They need to look, in my view, about the whole posture of Whitehall and go for a massive shift of power away from London. There are many things they should do, but equally they should grip the immigration issue, which is at the heart of the Brexit tragedy.
Fascinating, as always. Lord Heseltine, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.